Hi, writer friend. Do you have problems getting started with a project, not having the right ideas, or not sure if you're doing well with that first pre-planning stage of the process? Well, if you do, I am here to tell you I have great news. Today, I'm going to be asking my friend Stephanie Miller, who has been on more than 50 podcasts, sharing her wisdom as a spiritual and writing coach, um, those three questions about getting unstuck.
So, when have I not been stuck in writing is most likely the better question for me personally. I have experienced the stuckness, if you will, at every single stage from kind of the pre-writing to the idea stage. Is it good enough? Do I like this idea? To the first draft. So is what I'm writing making sense? All the way up to getting those revisions back and that editing process. And it's an ongoing thing, honestly. So the stuckness really happens for me at every single stage. I will say I tend to get a little more stuck in the idea. So, kind of like the conception of the book and what it's going to look like. As a nonfiction writer, I focus a lot on themes and messages and key takeaways to kind of frame out my book. But I also have a little bit of a slant where I add a creative twist and a creative spin. And sometimes that creative spin seems like a great idea. And other times that creative spin thinks like, what were you thinking? So really this idea of merging one idea and the next idea and determining which one is just one of those ideas that you just let go in your mind and let go out the other side, or that idea where it's there and you hold on to it and you lock it in and you pursue it. How I get unstuck in my writing is I stop trying to force my way through things. So for me, it really is this idea of stop pushing, stop pushing, stop pushing. If it's not working and it's not clicking and it's not connecting, the best thing I can do for myself is to take a step back and to go do something else creative, whether that is coloring or painting or drawing or cooking or dancing with my children, because I definitely don't dance by myself. Something to kind of get those creative juices flowing in another direction. Another thing I like to do is I like to just connect with nature. So taking a walk, going outside, just looking at God's creation and what he has made and just connecting in that different way. And in doing that, it kind of reminds me of what I'm doing, how I'm going, where I'm going, and it helps put everything back into perspective. I often say that writer's block for me has really turned into a welcome interruption to have an invitation to connect with God in a whole different way. So really what helps me get unstuck is to realize that I'm trying to force that, I'm going to get this term wrong, square peg into a round hole, something along those lines. I'm trying to force that and it's not going. So I pause and I take a step back and I reevaluate the situation after I have taken a break. The second thing I like to do to help myself get unstuck is remind myself that I'm not going to feel this way forever and I'm not going to be stuck this way forever. And it seems counterintuitive, but sometimes the best thing we can do to get unstuck is to stop trying to unstick ourselves and just to take that step back and allow things to work themselves out. So similarly, like I tell my children who are all young that they might feel this way, they might feel sad or upset or angry right now, but they're not going to feel this way forever. I remind myself of this too, especially in the writing process where I start to feel overwhelmed. I start to feel stressed out. I start to second guess every single choice that I have made. I take that breath, I take that pause, like I am right now, and I just allow myself to reconnect in another way. and know that I'm going to get unstuck once I reconnect and realign myself to my God and my God-given creativity. So my session is talking about 5 ways to approach the pre-writing process. So we want to write a book. We've decided we've written a book. And so we're looking at some of the ways that we can start off on the right foot. And the way that I like to talk about it is if you decide that you're going to run a marathon or a big race, you're probably not going to just start running or just start going or sign up for that marathon without proper training and without proper planning. So what I like to say is in my particular session, we're going to talk about what it looks like to really incorporate not your typical outlining techniques, but other techniques for this pre-writing and this brainstorm approach to help you feel confident enough that you have a direction and you have a plan for your book. On the other side of that is this idea of sometimes the hardest thing is just starting. We don't want to do something. The hardest thing it is to just get going. And what often is the result of that or the cause of that is the mindset. So kind of shifting our mindset. I have a couple of tips and tricks. I'm not going to give any away right now, but I have a couple of tips and tricks to kind of help us shape our writing time and our writing perspective and enjoy the pre-writing and the brainstorming and the what do I do now that I want to write a book process.
I promised you tips, my friend. And boy, didn't Stephanie deliver. She gave you 2 great tips right off on help you get unstuck and just a lot of wisdom there that I know that you are going to get so much value from her session and also probably just from following her newsletter completely. So check below in the description here. I've got the links to follow Stephanie and then also the link to sign up for the summit. It is free, my friends. 4 days, 2 hours a day, each of those days. Get value-filled session, free resources, ask questions after each session. And then Thursday, we'll have that full 45-minute session with all 7 coaches present. So you can say, I had a question for Stephanie, and here it is. She's there to answer it for you. So I hope that you will sign up, and I will see you in October at the summit.